Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all doing well. And if you're a new viewer, welcome to Pie in the Sky Tours. My channel aims to bring you quality setups, tutorials, tips, guides and tours for both VR and flat screen modes. So do check out my other videos and subscribe if you want to see my latest content. Today I'm really excited to bring you an exclusive interview with the co-founder and CTO of Varjo, Urho Konttori. We discussed the new Aero VR headset and I asked some questions I put together based on your specific feedback and requests. We had a great time chatting, and I thoroughly enjoyed learning more about the company, its aims, and this amazing VR headset. I'd like to give special thanks to Annalena, who's Head of Communications at Varjo, for organising my Aero VR loan unit and for all of the correspondence in order to make all of this happen. So thanks again. My aim with these Varjo-based videos is to give you as much information as possible from a consumer's point of view, so you can hopefully make some more informed decisions when it comes to deciding if this headset is right for you. As I mentioned before, this definitely is a VR enthusiast product, which comes with a significant price tag, and it may be out of reach for some. But I can definitely say that this headset is hands down the best thing I've ever seen or used. I do hope you enjoyed the interview, and let me know if you have any questions or comments, and I'll do my best to get back to you with as much information as I can. Please remember to like and subscribe if you enjoy the content, and hitting that like button will certainly help to boost the video, so more people can see it and learn about this amazing VR headset. Today we've got Urho Konttori, the co-founder of Varjo, with us today talking about the Aero headset. Welcome, Urho.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks for having me.
And thanks for your time. I'm really interested to talk to you about the new Varjo Aero headset. What I've done is I've asked a lot of my subscribers some questions that they would like to ask. Mm-hmm. So I've kind of put them together in a list and we'll go through them and sort of see how much light we can shed on it. Thank you very much for your time. And thank you very much for lending me the headset. So over the past year, we've seen an adjustment to expectations when it comes to the consumer market for virtual reality and the hype around VR in general. What would you say to those skeptical of whether or not it will take off?
I mean, I think we're now approaching the point that that VR overall is selling at roughly the kind of pace that Xbox is selling at, like in general, combining the different VR headsets. So it's not on the scale of the whole console market, but it's like approaching that kind of scale. And the most important thing is that the pace of the market is accelerating in VR side. And the interest is, of course, huge. We have a couple of companies defining metaverse, which VR is ultimately almost always linked to, as their defining strategic direction for the company, like Facebook/Meta these days. And when you think about the direction, how absolutely everything is getting digitized in the world, then what better format to experience the digitized world than VR/XR? So I do think it's very clearly the future paradigm of the computing, but it will not be the only. You will still be using laptops and computers almost dominantly throughout the days, but it will be the new thing which will be then getting to mass adoption in a decade.
Yeah, it's definitely taking off. I mean, you've got all different types of levels of headsets as well for different types of consumers. So it's interesting to see which direction it goes. What are you trying to achieve with the Varjo Aero?
Well, Varjo Aero was for us originally just a B2B headset. And our goal with that product has been to enable some of our existing customers to expand their use of VR, as it is not just lower cost product, which of course always helps in the expansion, but very importantly, we have been optimizing it so that it's more easy to use for everybody. It has lower compute requirements, again, enabling the expansion more easily. It's lighter weight and more ergonomical, which again leads to that you are more free to use it for a variety of use cases, not just the most demanding, most value for time use cases, in which cases you're typically fine, like, hey, let's put the XR3, it's a kilogram on my head. It might be a little bit uncomfortable, but I can do things that would be otherwise completely impossible. That doesn't lead to all possible use cases of VR. Yet at the same time, everybody in our customer base has always been like mind boggled by the human resolution quality, kind of like a professionalism that we provide, and the Aero is basically like this type of expansion product for that market. Now, simultaneously, we started getting a lot of like a demand and discussion on if Varjo would actually provide a headset to the consumer market, to enthusiasts in the flight simulations or like a car driving games domain. And we did feel that this would be the product that we could comfortably sell to everybody, because it's a super lightweight, it has good compatibility with the PCs, and it's just ready for prime time for everybody. And when we think about, for example, the XR3 with the mixed reality cameras, it's very demanding on the computing side. You need to have like very high quality USB ports on the computers. It's not something that you would want to send to consumers and then the next day get like thousands of like asked, why isn't it working on my computer? Well, it is demanding, and just your computer doesn't happen to be compatible with it. But all of these issues are solved with the Aero. So we felt that this is the time for us to offer something more premium to the VR market.
Excellent, yeah. And I mean, both flight simmers and sim racers, whoever's tried it, just say such positive things about the headset. Plus, it's so lightweight, so you can play for many hours, and it's not at all uncomfortable. And it has the cooling system inside the headset, right? So it stops any kind of mist buildup. Is that right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
As well as, of course, the automatic IPD that makes it so the lenses are always optimal for you. Those are some of those nuances that make it really convenient for longer periods of time, because you're not like slightly off with the optics, so it's not straining your eyes. And the automatic IPD feels a little bit magical for sure for the people. And then, of course, the eye tracking, which may be not so important in the consumer space today, but it's one of the things that also brings the longevity to the product, because I do see that it's one of the features that will be building up to more and more of the consumer headsets as well, which ultimately leads to content being created for that one and so forth. And of course, like not saying this will happen, but with us working in the professional space with many of the companies who do flight simulation software, our customer base is of course asking them, like in the B2B domain, is asking them to provide support for the foveated rendering and other eye tracking opportunities. So of course they would then trickle down to everybody. So in that sense, it's the eye tracking is one of those future-proof features on the headset.
Yeah, I've noticed it's very future-proof, isn't it? There's a lot, which I'll come back to a bit later, but definitely is. That's one of the big pluses is the future-proofness of the headset, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people have been asking me. They've said, "Oh, you've got some great results." But I'm lucky enough to have a 3080 GPU and an i9-10900K processor, so I've got a strong PC. But what kind of specs should people be looking at to run the Aero successfully? I know the different games change things, different sims change things, but generally, like, what kind of GPU level are you looking at?
Yeah, I think once you're past the point of 2080, then you're probably like a pretty fine. Like, obviously there are minimum specs that may work for some context beautifully. Like we have, I think 2060 defined as that minimum spec. 2080 fine, 3060 probably already quite fine, 3070 fine for sure. I have been now doing quite a bit of demos with laptops, finally again, with AMD inside for the CPU, and then 3080 laptop like Max-Q design, which is maybe not as good even as a 3070 desktop, maybe not even as good as the 3060, but it runs like all of the games and apps I need to have just beautifully for the demoing purposes. So in that kind of like a 3060 upwards or 2080 upwards, then you're probably fine.
Pretty safe. Okay, great. That's great to know. So if someone wants to buy the headset, how do they order the headset and when will it ship?
Yeah, so of course we have value-added resellers, but predominantly for the consumer market, we sell through our web store. So you just go to varjo.com/aero and find there the purchase button.
Will there be other versions of the Aero without eye tracking and auto IPD, for example, at a cheaper price?
Well, we don't comment obviously on future products. I can tell that we feel that eye tracking and automatic IPD, for example, are really crucial features to the customer base, and we feel that people would miss a lot by not having them. So what I mentioned about the future proofness, eye tracking is absolutely needed for that one, and the quality that we want to give our customer kind of demands the automatic IPD. So those are the kind of things that we wouldn't sacrifice to gain a little bit lower price point.
Sure, fair enough. Can you tell us a bit about the Varjo Reality Cloud?
Absolutely. So we're in a little bit of like a press silence period on that one. We did announce it in June this year, and the primary direction for us is to be pushing like the experience in great many ways to benefit on the cloud infrastructures. One of the angles is to move the compute to the cloud infrastructure, something that again might not be as interesting in the consumer space as it is in the B2B space. So shifting the expensive, hard to purchase computers to the cloud enables better expansion for the customers. They get the pay-as-you-go pricing, so you don't need to pay for the hardware upfront. And if you actually don't use it 8 hours a day, you will have much lower total cost of ownership through having the compute on the cloud. Then the scalability of the cloud is like phenomenal. So you can basically define that I'm going to be now needing to do this presentation to my managers. I want to run real-time ray tracing on. I want to enable 4 GPUs in the cloud and 100 CPUs to be so that I get that perfect ray tracing of the content. Those are the kind of things that you can just change with a slider when you're doing it in the cloud infrastructure. So it's this kind of like ability to adapt to the needs of the customer as they change is pretty fantastic, and we do think that that's going to be one of the key things for the future devices as well. When you can basically have wireless, lighter devices that don't necessarily need to have the compute in them, but you can actually have almost infinite compute in the cloud, and that's one of the core things that we have been working on the Reality Cloud, and we have now been having alpha phase. So real customers using it for a while, helping us make sure that the security of the system is premium. And we will be making some really interesting announcements on that one soon, but not today.
Yeah, that's great stuff though. Very exciting, because that seems like a really interesting direction to go in, I think. Will the Aero be available to more countries soon?
We have been expanding quite a bit on the list of countries, and I think the latest country list you can find from the Aero website, and it starts to be rather big. So I'd say almost all European countries, then of course USA. We have not yet expanded to the Asia side with the Aero. To the consumers. We do sell for businesses also in Asia, Japan, Korea, Australia, but we don't yet sell to the consumers in there. Like different regulations, it takes a little bit of time. So stay tuned on that one.
Okay, great. Thank you. Well, thank you very much for your time today. It's been really interesting talking to you about the new Aero. And I think that'll answer a lot of people's questions. And again, thank you very much for your time today, Urho.
Thanks, Chris. Pleasure.
Okay.